Precious and Barnabas had been together for 5 years, their love story the envy of everyone who knew them. They met during university, where Barnabas's quiet charm perfectly balanced Precious' bubbly personality. When Barnabas proposed in front of friends and family, everyone cheered. They were the perfect couples, or so it seemed. With just 1 week left before the wedding, Precious should have been the happiest she'd ever been. Instead, she felt restless. She couldn't understand why she wasn't more excited. Everything was planned down to the smallest detail: the venue, the flowers, the guest list. Barnabas had done everything right, but something gnawed at her. Her best friend, Amaka, insisted it was normal pre-wedding jitters. "Every bride feels nervous," Amaka said. "It doesn't mean anything." Precious tried to believe her, but when Barnabas left town for a last-minute work trip, the feelings worsened. She didn't know how to explain it: a sense of emptiness, like she was losing herself in the process of becoming his wife. That Friday night, Amaka dragged Precious out to a party. "You need to relax," she said. "One last girls' night before you're officially Mrs. Barnabas." The party was lively, full of people Precious didn't know. She drank more than she should have, trying to drown the unease inside her. That's when she saw John. John was an old friend from university, someone she hadn't seen in years. They used to have a small spark, a flirtation that never went anywhere because Precious had started dating Barnabas. Seeing him now brought back memories she thought she'd forgotten. "You're getting married," John said, smiling as they caught up. "Congratulations." His voice was smooth, his smile familiar. They talked for hours, reminiscing about old times. Precious felt something stir in her, something she hadn't felt in a long time. She didn't mean for it to happen, but when John leaned in to kiss her, she didn't pull away. They ended up at his apartment. It wasn't planned. It wasn't logical. But in that moment, Precious let herself give in to feelings she hadn't allowed herself to acknowledge. The next morning, she woke up in John's bed, her head pounding with regret. She slipped out quietly, avoiding his questions. Back at home, the weight of what she'd done hit her like a storm. She loved Barnabas. She knew that. What hadn't happened with John was a mistake, but it also made her confront a truth she hadn't admitted to herself. She was scared of the life she was about to step into. For days, she wrestled with guilt. Barnabas returned, full of excitement about their wedding. She couldn't look him in the eye. On the eve of the ceremony, Precious broke down. She told Amaka everything. "You have to tell Barnabas," Amaka said firmly. "You can't start a marriage with this secret." The thought terrified Precious. She knew Amaka was right. That night, she sat Barnabas down. "There's something I need to tell you," she began, her voice shaking. Barnabas listened in silence as she confessed. When she was done, the room felt heavy with the weight of her words. Barnabas stood up, his face unreadable. "Why?" he asked softly. "I don't know," Precious said, tears streaming down her face. "I was scared. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry." Barnabas didn't say anything else. He walked out of the room, leaving Precious alone with her guilt and regret. The wedding was called off. Friends and family were shocked, but neither Precious nor Barnabas explained what had happened. In the weeks that followed, Precious tried to pick up the pieces of her life. She learned to face her fears and mistakes, but she also realized something important: she needed to understand herself before she could truly commit to someone else. Barnabas eventually reached out, not to reconcile, but to say he forgave her. "We both deserve a fresh start," he said. It wasn't the ending Precious had imagined, but it was the one she needed to grow.